Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Student to Life podcast, where learning and unlearning has no limits. I'm your host, Stretch, and today I have the great pleasure of sitting down with my very good friend, who's supposed to come a long time ago, but she's here now.
Your sister.
Yeah.
We're not friend no more. We're sister
Yes,
and
this is
brother.
family. This is family, and I've been looking forward to this conversation because we haven't really had that much of a heart-to-heart since we've met, and I'm gonna make this that heart-to-heart that we're gonna have today. I have Jody Ann Gray here with me today. Jody,
Hi, Stretch.
welcome to my podcast.
It is my pleasure. It is long overdue. For real, for real.
I know, and
I owe it to you.
I've been very eager to have this conversation. Very much eager because, like I said, we don't get to do this very often.
We always
on the
meet on a
move.
happy note and
Yeah.
always dancing and out in the streets.
And
Yeah.
I was absolutely surprised and shocked and all the emotions and I nearly cried to it, like so much emotion. and
No
I'm like-
balling. No balling.
No, but when I was like the first time I heard a glimpse of your story was it was something you spoke about on your Instagram briefly.
Yeah.
Right. And then I watched the Soul Sim sessions and then I watched the first one back and it's like, this just can't be the Jody that we know. But before we get into it though, I always give the story of my guest. But before we do that, my podcast is called Student to Life, right? And I always want to ask people what's the meaning that they get when they hear the word student to life, what meaning comes to mind.
You know what it is that you're learning about life, because life is a learning lesson, and no matter how old you are, you're always at the school of life.
Correct.
So that's what I get from it. Am I right? I don't know. Did I get an A? I don't know.
It's the thing is everybody that comes has a different answer,
Right.
but nobody has a wrong answer. So
That's it.
yes.
Perspective is key.
So let's start from the beginning. Childhood, where were you born? Schooling?
Lord. You sure? How long is the podcast? 'Cause you're gonna need about 5
we're not
days,
limited here tonight. We're not
I'm just
limited
kidding
tonight.
you.
Yeah, we're not
All
limited
right.
tonight.
No, I got you. So I was born in Kingston at the Victoria Jubilee Hospital.
Jubilee, okay.
I don't know if that's what it's still called. I think it's now KPH. I think so.
I'm not sure because I'm country me come from, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, I was born in Kingston. My mom left when I was 6 months. Never looked back. My grandmother took care of me. But there was a point in time when she was not able to go to work and look after me. She had helpers who would come in and, assist with looking after me.
Right.
But the neighbors would tell her that they were beating me and abusing me. So she was like, you know what? I can't do this because I can't stay and watch them and watch you and work. So, I have to pick a struggle.
Right.
So I was actually boarded out. I lived in a boarding home. Wonderful lady. I learned so much from her. Disciplinarian. She was like an old school principal from London.
Okay.
She lived in Jamaica, moved to London, moved back to Jamaica and opened a boarding home. And I lived in Mountain View, I want to say for about 10 years.
First 10 years of your life, or
First 10 years of my life. I lived there. I went to, my first school was Grace Temple Basic School. Shout out to anybody in Portmore for sure. And then I moved from Grace Temple and I went to Mavisville Prep.
okay,
After Mavisville Prep and living in Mountain View, I had to move from Mountain View because I made an attempt at suicide.
wow,
Lit myself a fire. And, when I came out the hospital, my stuff was on the side of the road
wow,
because the boarding home, told my grandmother, listen, if she can do that to herself, I don't know what she would do to us.
right,
So we don't want her here, So I moved from there. My dad was forced to come in the picture at this point and find somewhere to put me. He moved me in with his sister. Then I started going to Constant Spring Junior High School. No, lie. I went to St. Cecilia Prep for 1 year, left St. Cecilia, then went to Constant Spring Junior High. Shout out to anybody in Cassava Peace. Big up the gully side, Mavado. Yeah, for sure. Just kidding. But yeah, I went to Constant Spring Junior High. From there, I left from there, went to Merle Grove. Left from Merle Grove, went to the university, and
So you went to university.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're not gonna skip over. I wanna make sure I delve deep into some of these things. The first part is your mom leaving, right? When did you realize that? Because remember, after 6 months, right?
Yeah.
After 6 months, you don't really know what it is to have a mom. So with her now picking up and being gone, it's maybe you seeing other kids with their parents and you're like, where's mine type of situation.
You know what was interesting about my situation? I didn't understand that my grandmother was not my mother.
Okay.
I called my grandmother mommy. It wasn't until I was probably about 8, 9, I realized that this lady was not really my mother. She was my grandmother.
Okay.
When I got to a certain point, when I started understanding, I was more interested in why she not here.
Right.
You know? I started to get the understanding that she lived overseas, and what she would do is she would do stuff like call me every other year or every year on my birthday and tell me, oh, I'm going to come for you. I'm going to bring you to Cayman. I'm going to bring you here.
The whole stretch?
Yeah. So she would call me at like convenient times, whether it's my birthday or
Christmas.
Well, she wouldn't call for all holidays, but she would definitely call either before or on my birthday.
Okay.
And when she called, she'd be like, you know, I'm going to come for you. I'm going to take you to Cayman. I'm going to take you to London. I remember one summer she called and, you know, when I started to kind of understand that, wait, grandma is not my mother. This is my mother. And she coming for me, you know. And she told me, she's like, hey, I'm coming for you this summer. You know, I'm going to take you to London, you know, and we're going to have a good time. And then you're going to come and live with me. And when you're a child, you know, bossy. Me was one of them bossy pick me.
Right.
Don't tell me nothing. Come here, tell the world.
Right.
Old fridge where the rubber can't lock. So I'm like, you know, I used to tell my friends, I'm like, listen.
Everybody that listen.
May I go to London, you know? Yeah. Can't talk to me in London. May I go to London? May I go to Cayman? May I go? Listen. How my friend them did have me as big liar, so.
Yeah.
Because once she promised me, another year before you hear back.
So was that what led to that suicide attempt?
It wasn't. So it was part of the reason. So growing up, I always felt out of place. Why I felt out of place, I'm older and I still can't put my hands on it because a part of me couldn't understand, okay, why is it that I'm not with my parents like a lot of these other kids, right? I would never tell anybody I was less fortunate because I went to one of the best private schools in Jamaica. You know, I think I lived a fairly good life. But the material things were always present. But when it came on to, you know, the love, the affection, the connection, I never had it, just with my grandma, right? And I was a troubled child, right? When I said troubled, like troubled.
So you felt like something was just
missing. I gave a lot of trouble. So because of that, I was always an outcast, right? So when you're an outcast, you find that people shun you and stay away from you. So that added to, you know, I felt ostracized. And then I think what led to my my attempted suicide, I never forgot. It was a Friday. I had taken, at that time, it was the common entrance exam that would take you from
college,
prep school over into high school. I took that 3 times, never passed one. Wow. Right? Let me tell you something. Me did don't see no. No, let me tell you. People not understand.
Was it on purpose though?
Me no know, but me did dance bad.
I think that might have
Like-
been on purpose.
Like, if me did see me name Pambula, me da eat it. Yeah. Like,
Even though you went to a good prep school.
yeah, I was more interested. Like, I used all of my energy and my talents in dancing. I was a part of Ashe. Thank God for Ashe, because Ashe saved me.
Yeah.
Like, Ashe Ensemble, Conroy, the entire group, Mr. Robinson, they were my family. They were in Mountain View at the time. And they literally saved me, right? Because that's where I would pour all my
So what
energy.
is Ashley exactly?
It is a dance ensemble, but I'll definitely get to that. So, you know, as it relates to the attempted suicide. So I remember it was a Friday. And, you know, this was my third time trying to common entrance, and I did not pass.
Okay.
I felt terrible because I had a sister at the time who was not too far from me who had passed for Meadowbrook.
Okay.
So bear in mind, I don't hear from my parents much, right? So my mom called and she was like, oh, you took the common entrance. That's why I'm glad I never take you up, because you done good for nothing kind of thing, you know? I already felt bad.
Yeah, but that's
because
that's
that sinked me. You know, this was my third time. And when it come on to education, I just couldn't get it. Like at that age, I just couldn't get it, right? Right after she called, my dad called and he was like, boy, I don't know what them going to do with you, no, see. And I'm not going to call her name. She was like, see my daughter, yeah, pass in Meadowbrook, and one time she take it. You take it 3 times and not even pass 1 time. I don't know, you're not come out to nothing.
Wow.
You know, so that really crushed me because I was already crushed.
Right.
You know, I was probably one of the only people in the class who did not pass that year. Wow. Yeah, like it was bad. And I remember, you know, I called my grandma. My grandmother was like, Jody, don't listen to them. She's like, no matter what I have to do, you are going to be successful. I promise you. That lady spoke life into me every chance she got. And I remember I called her and I said to her, Grandma, I love you, but I don't think I belong here and I have to go. And she said, what do you mean? I said, Grandma, don't worry about it. I just have to go. She said, where are you going? And I hung up the phone. At that time, we had, I never forgot, it was a gray phone and a dialer. Called her, 9224-637. And I called her, I said, Grandma, I go in. And,
You remember the number though?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And, you know, I remember going in the bathroom and I lit a candle and I had on a dress, silk dress, and I lit the end of the dress. And it just instantly blazed, right? And I remember running out the bathroom because by this time now, you know, heat, you run out because even though you want dead, you know, you have to brave for dead, you know, they lick hot, you know. So I ran out and, you know, when I ran out, somebody was washing at the time who worked at the boarding school, the boarding home, sorry. And she threw the water on me and they took me to the hospital and I was there for quite a while with 3rd-degree burns. Made it out of that. So that was really what sparked this. I just felt like I didn't have an outlet. I felt like, you know, just imagine you being told that, you know, you're good for nothing, you know, kind of
by
thing.
people who are supposed to.
Yeah, and you know, and the fact that they weren't there, I felt like that was the justification for why they weren't there, because I was good for nothing.
Right.
So why am I going to want to stay in this world? That was my thought process. Because when you're at that age, you don't see beyond that time.
Of course not.
You know? So for me, it was like, yeah, I don't have no reason to be here. These people don't want me here. I'm not contributing nothing to this world, so let me go.
And then, like I said, in that case, you kind of explained thoroughly as to why kids need both parents and why they need at least one good caring parent. You know what I'm saying? Because that type of resentment that you could have grown with, which you didn't, we can see that you didn't grow with that resentment for not only them but for anyone. You get what I'm saying? And I haven't felt that energy from you at all, and I feel like you said, your grandma is the one who offset that, because life is like this crossroad, right? Where you could have took this route, be a street girl and, you know, not doing anything that's sensible, and then the other road is the road you took, which is the mature grown-up road. Okay, so now you failed 3 times. You got into high school finally. Now, after high school, you went to university for
Media and communication. And I did a minor in cultural studies, graduated with honors.
And how did that go? Because you can't let yourself done, so I want to know how you make it to...
Well, you know what? Let me tell you, and that is one of the things, you know, even my own daughter, I tell her, I said, let me tell you something. It's not about everybody else's journey. It's about your journey. So if you don't get it today, that's fine. If you get it in the next 40 years, that's fine. At the end of the day, your will is greater than anything that you can get right now.
That's right.
Right? So with that being said, I think for me, my grandmother was the one who really forced me to be who I am today.
Right.
Because I felt like because of how much she believed in me, I had to make sure that everything that she spoke into me came to pass. I wanted to prove to her that, Grandma, you know what? Everything you said to me, over me, and just about me is not a lie, it's true, because you're the only one who believed in me. As a matter of fact, both my grandparents, my grandmother and my grandfather, both spoke life into me. When everybody would tell them, you see, you can't stay there. They used to tell my grandmother, you can't stay there, you spoil her, she going to bite off your ears, you know? That's what the thing. And she not going to come out to nothing, she going to embarrass you. And they used to tell her all kind of things. And she used to say, don't worry, let me embarrass, make she bite off my ears, you know? So I think the turning
part of that
point...
is not wanting to let her down too.
I didn't want to let her down.
Right.
So the turning point for me was just to really get to a point where, you know what, my journey may not have been as fast as everybody else's, but I can get there. So I studied much harder than a regular person who could get it, right? During 6 CXCs, I ended up with 7 1s. For that, didn't get maths. Maths was never a thing for me. But, you know, for that, like, I studied, I kept studying. So if a regular person would study 5 times a night, I would study the whole night.
Right.
And, you know, there was a point in time when, you know, during my CXCs, I moved back to my grandmother because I just didn't feel comfortable with anybody but my grandmother, you know, because everybody else would speak against me. And that was just too much for me. So I remember running out and I'm like, I can't take this no more.
So where were you when you left the group
So
home?
when I left the group home, I was actually living with my aunt, which was my father's sister.
Yeah, you said that, yeah.
That was another story.
Right.
That didn't quite work out because, you know, for me, now that I'm older, I believe in counseling. So if I see, you know, something a little off with my daughter, you know, let's go to counseling. At that time, me go beat you.
Yeah.
Me go bust your ass. You understand? So I remember coming bandaged like a little mommy, and my ass was beaten. Why you burn up yourself? Boop, boop, boop. Why you burn up yourself? You know? So
On top of you being burnt.
yeah, on top of me being burnt. I never got any counseling. It was never a situation like, let me try to figure out the roots of the problem. It was never like that. It was always, you're a bad child, you're good for nothing. Just continue on that road until we get rid of you, kind of thing. That's how I felt, right? So I was living with my aunt, and then left my aunt, went back to my grandmother. I chose to go back to her because I was like, at this point, yeah.
Regardless of the situation.
Yeah, I'm going to go back to her. The good news for me is that, you know, my grandfather was like, this girl, no matter what you want to do, I will support you. So if you go into college, I will help you to pay for your college fee. I want you to live on campus. I will pay for that too.
Wow.
You know, and he was like, whatever you need, I will help you because I see the good in you. So both my grandparents propelled me, they pushed me, you know. And I mean, the truth is, I just knew that I had more in me, and I just literally fought to do what I know my full potential was.
So after college now, after the communications degree, what's next after that?
So after the degree, before I even finished my degree, I was hired by Supreme Ventures.
The gambling company.
Supreme Ventures is one of the #1 lottery companies in Jamaica.
Yeah.
So I was hired and known as the lottery girl, you know. So I used to spin balls and do draws.
Well, you was on TV?
Yeah, I was actually on TV, yeah.
What station? TVJ, CVM?
At that time, it was on CVM.
Supreme Venture, I think they were on both, if I'm not wrong.
No, at that time, it was just on CVM.
But they were on radio too.
I don't remember. But I just know, no, they were on Irie.
Yes.
I want to say they were on Irie FM.
I think so.
A Lord, me feel.
Which one of the games was it?
So I did everything. I did Lucky Five. I did Cash
Were you
Pots.
there when
I
Pick
did
3 came
Lotto.
out?
I did Pick Three.
Well, okay, then it was on both.
I did Mega.
Yeah.
Was it Mega Five?
Mega 5, yeah.
I can't remember.
So Mega 5 was
Look it
after
up.
me, after I left.
Right.
Yeah.
So, all of the big games, I was known as one of the lottery girls.
Okay.
That's really where my career actually started.
Mm-hmm.
And then because I did radio at the University of the West Indies, one of the things that we had to do was an internship. And I did my internship, ironically, at CVM TV.
Okay.
So there was Radio 2, Hot 102 upstairs, CVM downstairs. So Richie B, he saw so much in me. And another lady by the name of Desney Matthews.
Disney.
I remember talking and they were like, you have a great voice. And I remember Richie B calling me in and telling me, you know what? I want a segment in my show to be produced called The Hot Wire. And what we would do is we would start interviewing, artists, and we would package it and just present it for, I think it was a 5 to 7 minute segment. And everybody loved it. Like, we would interview some of the biggest artists at that time, Vibes Cartel, Mavado. We did some of the biggest names. So by that time now, remember now, I not even leave college good yet.
Right.
I didn't graduate yet. And, I was getting those opportunities, and then people started hearing me, and then I started getting the commercials, and the rest, I just started growing from there. I literally was growing like wildfire in no time.
Hey, this Mother's Day, May 11th, make sure you come out to the Art of Music Festival going down in Sunset Cove. You don't want to miss Maxi Priest live on stage, my girl Allison Hines, legendary Third World. And of course, your boy Papa Key's going to be in the building. Make sure you get your tickets at Caribtix right now. You don't want to miss the Art of Music Festival. Mother's Day Sunday, May 11th at Sunset Cove Amphitheater. We going to Boca, baby. Let's get it.
I guess that's why your voice resonates so much. Because it's like, where does this voice sound so familiar from? Because at that time, everybody know your voice at that time. Because now that I'm putting 2 and 2 together, everybody, we hear this every day.
Yeah.
Because if you're not buying the cash pot on officially, somebody's bundling it.
Yep.
So everybody is gathering around the radio or gathering around the TV,
to see,
waiting for you to come on.
Yeah.
At that time. But that's crazy. Like, so long we know you,
Yep.
and it's that no,
I never know.
Putting
And
it together
I started when it got real serious now is when I started doing a lot of voiceovers for Scotiabank and corporate like Digicel, I was doing a lot of like the commercials were coming one after the other.
Right.
So by this time I literally had landed my name. Not as big as I wanted to, but I landed my name to a point where by the time I left school, I was good.
So now all the people that were saying all the people that were saying, nothing not gonna happen and all these things, now they have no choice but to see your success. No other option, because you can, at that time, there's no way they're not seeing you on the TV, they're not hearing you on the radio.
Absolutely. What
was that feeling like? Like you proved them wrong in a way?
You know what? It wasn't even about proving them wrong, because I never felt like I had anything to prove to them. I think I had everything to prove to my grandmother.
Okay.
I never, like, to this day, it's like, I hate to say it, but they're dead to me.
Right.
It's like, I'm not, so right now, my grandmother is dead, may her soul rest in peace. If I'm doing anything for proving to anybody, it's to my daughter.
Right.
You know what I mean? So unlike some people that would be like, yeah, I make it now and see that, I don't really care. You know what I mean? Okay. Like, that's what you thought. You do with the information on what you see now, what you will. But I'm going to continue to do and be my best self.
So let me ask you, your mom is still alive, right?
She is.
Okay, have you spoken to her since, like, leaving college now? Have you guys developed a better relationship at all?
That will never happen.
Okay.
That will never happen. I have had situations where I've spoken to her, but it's just one of those it's a toxic relationship.
Okay.
It really takes a lot of energy.
So you made an attempt to basically mend the relationship, but it's like,
I have tried because, to be honest, as grown back as I was, I always wanted the feeling of having a mother.
of course.
But it just never worked. And for me, one of the biggest things why it never worked is the lack of accountability.
That is what I was gonna say.
So, I remember asking her, I say, you know what? I can't sit down and laugh with you and kiki kakaka.
Like nothing happened.
And I don't get an explanation as to why you left me. Like, she had a daughter that was older than me, and she left me. So why would you leave like, give me an explanation. And her explanation is, me never leave you for dead. Me never left you on the roadside. So whatever.
Wow. Till this day.
To this day, I don't have an explanation as to why you left me.
And now you feel even worse because you feel like it's just you.
You know what? And you see, I can't say it's just me. And I tell people this, and this is where I'm going to tear up. Stretch, the Lord has been so damn good to me that he has blessed me with so many people that I don't even remember that they're not my blood.
True. I'm one of them, by the way.
Like, for real. Like, when I think about the support system that I have, this can't be by chance.
Right.
So I never, hear me out. You'll never ever experience the love from anybody else like you would from your mother. But I have had people pour into me, right? I've had people believe in me. I've had people push me. I've had people stand by me. And the main person was my grandmother. That lady never left me. I remember when I was in college, that lady lived in Greater Portmore. I was living at the University of the West Indies in Ligoni, Papine. And if you know the distance from Greater Portmore to Papine, at that time we're talking about a 70-odd-year-old lady. And every Monday morning, my friends would look out. She didn't have the money to send me to college. But what she did have was the ability to support me, to sleep on the one little bed with me, a single bed with me. And every Monday, my friends would look out, the people who I lived with on hall would look out and say, "Good mobile canteen on our way." And I would run and meet her because she would stay up from Sunday night to Monday morning and cook 5 different meals for me. Every single Monday morning, that lady brought that on a bus in a crocus bag from Greater Portmore to Papine.
That was special. That's definitely special.
And because she would be tired on Monday, she would sleep over and she leave early Tuesday morning. And she did that every single Monday for 3 years. Never miss a Monday. Stretch, the rain could be pouring. She don't have no drive. She don't have no money to take no taxi. And she took a bus every single week.
Do you think they still make people like that?
I don't know, bro. I don't know.
I don't think I've ever met someone that dedicated to seeing someone else succeed.
She was different. And I think that's what pushed me so hard because I never want, I can't see somebody work so hard and then turn around and disappoint them.
Let them know, yeah.
You know? I remember even though she never understood the work that I was doing, she would sit, if I have to sit up and study or have an exam, if it's 5 o'clock, grandma going to sit up with her Bible and rock from left to right until I finish studying. You finish now? All right. You want me quiz you? And she would try to read through the stuff. Even if she can't pronounce the words the way that it's supposed to, she would help me.
That's crazy. So, so the relationship with your mom is basically... For the way it sounds is that the accountability part is that part of it that you're looking for, those answers to fill that void, those questions that you've had.
Yeah.
But what about your dad? Have you ever spoken to him after the fact?
So here's the thing. My dad is my dad. I don't hate my dad. I just know for my peace, I had to just disassociate myself. It's one of those things where I have to love you and leave you. You know what I mean? As a parent, this is my thing. no matter what, support your kids. You know? I shouldn't have a parent bringing me down. Leave that to strangers. And that's all I'll say about that. It was just a situation where I love you, but I had to just leave you. Because one of the things he didn't like is what I realized about people, they have what we call short-term memory. So they'll see the success, but they forget what they did to you. You know? So when you talk about stuff, they don't want you to bring certain things to the public. How dare you talk about that in the public? Because I want to make sure I look like the best father or the best mother in your eye. So don't ever bring up anything that's going to make me look bad. Don't say anything, you know? And you can't tell me what to say because you're not the person who put on my shoe and walked around in it. You know, and I'll hear my dad say, you know, I sent you to school and I fed you. That's your job. That is your job. That's the bare minimum. You know what I mean? So it's like, I just had to get to a point where, you know what? I had to just stick to the people who bring me joy. I think I've had enough drama, enough drama to last me until, even if I live till 110. So anything that causes me any disruption of my peace, I work hard for it, Stretch.
So I think we're gonna touch on the parenting topic separate and apart from your story. But before we get there, like, we gotta finish some of your story, because one thing I've seen so much more than often is the older people, I would say the older Jamaicans, who are unable to say I did it wrong or I didn't know. And I commend my parents for that, for saying to us, listen, we did it the way our parents showed us how to do it. So we never knew. We weren't doing it the right way, you know. And I commend my parents for saying that to us. And when they said that to us, that is what a lot of kids would love to hear.
That's accountability piece.
You understand what I'm saying? So now to the next traumatic part of your life now. This is the like I said, when I heard this, I had so much emotions, because the person I've met, I don't see that. I don't feel that. Because a lot of people who go through things, you could see it, feel it. The trauma shows on them. It doesn't show on you. You don't walk around with it as a burden. I don't know how it was when it just happened and you're going through it, but now the person I've met is an evolved person. So it was 2012. Walk us through that, of what really happened.
It's just one of those really unfortunate situations, which for me, it's not unfortunate anymore, because I have the most beautiful and precious gift out of it, right? But, you know, when I look back in retrospect, I was at a terrible place in my life where if a dog look at you and tell you, say, I love you, you say, yeah, man.
It's like you're looking for a void, something to fill that void.
Yeah, there was always a void that I was looking to fill. And, you know, I remember meeting this person, and, you know, for about 2 years, he was after me. And I used to be like, yo, bro, you're not my type. You ugly. Yeah, but, you know, when you get to a point where you just, again, looking to fill that void, you don't understand yourself, you don't love yourself, you don't value yourself, and you don't move with discernment. I went against my gut feeling and, you know, entered into what became one of the most traumatic incidents of my life. You know, I remember him, you know, saying he's separated. You know, at that time I was dumb, because, like, when I really think about some of the crap that I was told, if I was really smart, I would have known that all of this was a lie. But, you know, I'm not going to go back in the past. You know, I just accept it, keep it moving. And, you know, got pregnant in 2011. And, you know, I remember saying, hey, you know, I'm pregnant. And he was like, yeah, I don't care what you got to do, dash it where. I'm like, dash it where? I'm like, that's the first thing you can say to me? I was like, I'm 28 years old. why would you say something like that to me, you know? And I remember telling him, I say, you know what? After today, don't ever speak to me again. Don't call my phone. Don't talk, like, just leave me alone. I was pissed, right? My stepmom, she was very supportive. Like, she was there with me when I found out I was pregnant, and she said, Jody, make him dead a bush, like, we don't care, like, we'll be there for you. I was making more than enough money,
Right.
you know, because I was dumb enough to even help give him money. But we're not going to even go into that, right? And, you know, got pregnant. And he told me that no communication. He would try to communicate with me. I'll say, yo, bro, just leave me alone. Let me do what I'm doing. So by the time I was 7 months, he didn't know what I was having. A dog, a cat, a girl, a boy. He knew nothing. Went to work, regular day, did my cash pot in the morning, did my...
With a belly?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, man. I had a big belly in my 6-inch heels when I was doing cash pots. And, you know, in the evening, I would do a radio show and then I would go home. And I remember going home the evening, you know, singing some old tune and whatever. And then I got a call. And, oh, by the way, the same morning that I got shot, I got a call from a private number because by this time, he can't call me. Like, once I see his number, bro, it's a wrap. So I saw a private number calling me. Didn't know who it was because by this time I forget about him. Like, anybody remember about you? And we're talking 7 months in. And I got a call and I was like, hey. And the person was like, yo, can I talk to you? I was like, who is this? I was like, yeah. I said, listen, I already told you. Leave me. I won't tell you what I said. The bleep alone. I don't want to have nothing to do with you.
Right.
Oh, I need to talk to you because, you know, I'm really sorry about all the things that I did. And I just want to be there. I behaved this way because I didn't have the money. But now I put myself together and I want to stand up and do what's right. I was like, okay. At this point, I don't need nothing from you. Boom. That was it. Oh, he asked if he could meet for lunch. I said, ain't nobody hungry. I don't need to meet you for shit. Yeah. Cool. That was the end of that. The night, I'm seeing Mary, not a day from work, enjoying myself, going home. Reached to my gates. All I know is a car came, blocked me. A Rasta man come out, put the gun, my window was down, by the way. Put the gun at the side of my head, click it, it didn't go off. Take up the barrel, fix the chamber, start shooting. And I'm like, yo, I'm pregnant. Boop, boop, boop. It's like, okay, cool. So by this time, I honestly thought that somebody was coming to rob me. Backstory. I was supposed to go to come to Miami the Friday. I got shot the Wednesday. There's a certain limit that you have to be able to take out of the bank daily. So that day, I went because I had an account. Every time I worked, I saved it because I know I have my baby coming. At that time, I was buying a house. Everything was going. So I went to the bank that particular day and I drew $3,500 US. So I thought that maybe somebody had seen me the day and they came for the money. Fast forward to 8 hours after, I found out, no. The detective came in and said, we caught the fools that did this to you. So I say, who and why? And when they told me who it was, Stretch, I was just like, there's so many emotions that were going through me because the first question I had is, Jackass, why would you even go to do something like that when I told you I don't need nothing from you?
Right. But where did you get shot though?
The first shot was here. Broke my nasal palate, broke my upper palate, went through.
So it
my
went
tongue.
like across here?
No, it went down.
Down.
And lodged right here. So this is why I have this.
Okay.
I was trying to.
So it went through.
Straight down. Yeah, it didn't go down. It lodged.
Oh, so it's still there?
No, I had to get it removed through surgery. And then this one, I was trying to hide my belly because by this time I'm trying to protect my baby.
Right.
So, and a bullet came through here. The third one came through here, and then the fourth one grazed my back.
So 4 times?
Yeah.
So, okay. So now you found out that it's him that is doing this. The emotions. Now you're speaking about these emotions that you're feeling at that point.
It was more annoying for me because imagine you going through 7 months, not getting a dollar from this low life. And just because you created a story that wasn't so, and you want to save face to make people think that you're a good person, you do all of this. And I think to this day, the thing that pisses me off the most is that you created all of this, did all of this drama, displaced me from my family, do all of this wickedness for me to do the same thing that I told you I was going to do. Look after my child myself.
Mm-hmm. And this is when you moved from Jamaica. You still took the flight that Friday.
So I didn't take the flight the Friday. I was in the hospital for 30 days.
Wow. Okay.
I was in the hospital for 30 days. It was rough.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to every single doctor at KPH, like Dr. Wiley, the entire crew there. They were, I can't even tell you, they took good care of me. When it was time for me to be discharged, the prosecution said, hey, I can put you in witness protection. I said, not a backside, not in Jamaica. Me not play that. I said, I have a ticket, call the airline, find out if it is that the ticket is valid. If not, my aunt was like, yo, I will pay it for you, don't worry. And I left the hospital with a bag a little bigger than what I have here. I was discharged about 3:30. I was in the US by about 8.
So wasn't he arrested?
He was.
So what was the reason for leaving?
You know nothing about Jamaica?
Of course, I was born and raised
You
there.
know how Jamaica small?
Mm-hmm.
Why me would I take up myself and go in a witness protection in a Jamaica? No disrespect to Jamaica, but I wasn't comfortable.
I don't think that would have worked out.
I wasn't comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't comfortable. So I literally moved here without a plan, without nothing. I just say, you know what? The ticket is still valid. Get me out.
So your daughter was actually born here?
Yeah, she was born here.
Wow. So what was it like going through that though? Like physically, I know it's pain.
It was rough. It was rough. Even now, I still, like, we're talking about 12 years later, and I still have pain. Because, like, here, I'm supposed to do a surgery, but they're saying that if they remove it, it's going to grow back. So it pains so much that I have to keep getting steroids to assist with the pain and, how big it's growing. Because I have keloid. But outside of that, mentally, now I'm perfect. I'm good.
What about then, like, after it happened?
I was a hot mess. Like, if you saw me, you would not believe that it's the same person because you're talking to me. I'm not, like, I look at you, but I'm not talking. Like, you'll ask me questions, I'm not answering.
So you're basically like skeptical of everything and everybody.
It wasn't skeptical. I think I was literally starch-born getting mad. Because I couldn't believe that everything I worked for was literally just...
Gone.
For what,
Mm-hmm.
And I think what made it even worse is that there were so many people who was like, yeah, she should have dead because she take the people them husband. She should have dead and, And that made me even feel worse than the gunshot. Because I'm like, but it was rough.
So
it was horrible. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy.
So now your daughter is born here, and now you're, like you said, you're basically out of it because you're feeling a feeling of betrayal, anger, confusion. Everything is just...
I think I was mostly angry. I was mostly angry. Because again, like, I left you alone. You see, if I was telling you, yo, give me some money for go to the doctor, whatever. When I tell you my family was behind me, my family was behind me. My stepmother, Auntie Carleen, big up yourself. I will never forget what you do for me. That lady never miss a doctor's appointment. My friends never miss a doctor's appointment. Like, at the time the incident happened, I had a friend at the time, Rampus, may his soul rest in peace. He used to read lottery too, bingo at the time. And Rampus, like, had this whole plan where they were having a big baby shower. It was like 300 people attending. It was a huge, like, I was just living my best life knowing that I am going to be a single mother, but my family was there with me. I had my brother in Atlanta. He was ready to, step up and whatever. So everybody, it was just like nobody remembered this man. Nobody remembered him. So I think that's what made me angry because, like, why you couldn't just leave me alone?
Right. Like, it was just pointless.
It But you know what it is? And even to this day, I know for a fact that heathen has not changed. Because let me tell you what it is. You see, when people try to be somebody who they're not, they'll go any lengths to maintain the perception that they want you to maintain of them.
So now that, like I said, you have your daughter now, and life has begun, a whole new life has begun, basically.
Yeah.
I guess you said you seek asylum being to be here.
Yeah.
And for somebody who went through that, moving past that, starting new friendships, new relationships, having people coming close to you, how did you handle that part of it? Because I know for me, it would be like...
It took me a while. Because even dating, I told people, me say, if you don't see me a date, put on rope on the neck and hang me up on one tree like donkey. Because no.
Right.
But I had to do the self-work. I had to sit on the couches and do the therapy. I had to do the counseling. I had to literally just peel my flesh and start again. And change my mindset.
What was that like to now start a whole new life in a whole new country now with a newborn, and now figuring out how you're gonna raise this newborn by yourself?
I was scared. I was really scared. I was scared. But as I said, I honestly, like, I tell myself I don't want to cry, but every time I think about my journey, it's like God lined up people every single step of the way. Like, from somebody to receive me from the airport, to somebody to say, boy, come stay at my house, you're good, to somebody to say, boy, I will give you some food, to somebody say, yo, don't worry yourself, I will make sure she have Pampers, to somebody to say, yo, I will take you to the doctor. Like, every single step, there is somebody there. Even if I didn't meet them or didn't know them or I met them for the first time, there was always somebody there.
So in that time, it changed you in that way, but what brought you back now to the person you are right now? Other than therapy and other things, but what are those tools that you use to bring yourself back to this point?
All right, so here's what we're going to go back to. We're going to go back to my childhood. And the reason why that is important is because I use that as a catalyst to say, if I was able to go through what I did in my childhood and be where I was, I can do it again. And whatever and whoever God ordained me to be, that's who I need to stand up and allow myself to be. So it really was my will to win, my ability and knowledge to know what it is to fight, and my trust and faith in God. That really is what it is. Yeah. And the support, I can't stop saying this. I had some good friends, and Jeffrey, like, that girl, let me not start talking about her. I'm not going to start because, again, Stretch, let me tell you something. And I want to look in the camera. Which camera can I look into?
The camera.
I want to look in the camera when I say this. You do not have a friend. Don't call nobody your best friend until you've been through something with that friend. Don't do it. Because you will call yourself, you will call people friend, my sister, my bestie, make you fall on your face. I had a lot of friends who just was like, peace out. You in this on your own. While I had some friends who, no matter what it took, they were right there to this day beside me and my daughter. No matter what it took.
So let me ask you this, because sometimes you're going through something, and I can attest to that. Sometimes you're going through this hard phase of your life, and it's hard for you to see the good part of it, or what lessons you take from that. I heard you say on the interview that it was probably, you saw the blessing that came out of it and the lessons that you've learned from it. What are some of those lessons you would say from even childhood until now, some of those lessons that through your hardships that you took lessons from those to mold you into the person you are right now?
You know what? One of the things, if I were to go back to my younger self, I would tell myself, right now, you look outside, you see nighttime, but the sun is shining somewhere. What does that mean? Everybody have a time to shine and propel at a particular point in time. You just never know when, right? So one of the lessons I have to learn is to understand the season and the importance of timing. You may be up today, you're going to be down tomorrow. You may be down tomorrow and up today. So with that being said, one of the things I literally keep telling myself, everybody have a season. So when a farmer come and then plant a corn, you can't plant the corn today and want to reap it tomorrow. You have to go out there, some of them chop, some of them get some cut on them finger, them get some bruises, sun burn them up, them black them, the corn sometime it dead and you have to bring it back to life. So there are so many things that you have to do to lead up to reaping season. So my lesson is, what season are you in? Whatever season that is, embrace it.
Okay, that's a tough lesson coming from you. So now we're gonna pivot just a little bit, right? We're gonna talk a little bit about relationships. Okay. Going through that, allowing yourself to be loved after that is going over a mountain. Like I can't get to the top, right?
It's hard.
Let's talk about red flags, though. What are some red flags you think you ignored, or you think a lot of people do ignore also?
Peace. Listen, now make me go in at a red flag there.
We have to, because I feel like it's somebody you can save. You can save somebody by telling them all these red flags. Yeah.
If I had the knowledge I have now. So one of the things that you want to do, you see, I don't even know where to start. When you see someone, right, love bombing you, run.
Explain love bomb for those who don't know what that is.
So you'll have somebody who, within the first week, oh, I love you so much and I want to marry you tomorrow and run like thief. Them are wicked. You see the next thing too, and a lot of people going be mad at me for this, and I'll take the heat. My back broad. Me eat enough. Beer dumpling and cornmeal. Yeah. You see when you see a man in church and they're propelled to be Christians and you see them living a different life from what they propelled to the public, baby, call your Saint Bolt, borrow the shoes when you use for Olympics, and run off. And when you run ball for murder too. You hear me? Them are wicked. You hear me say?
No, we're going to now.
All right. The lies, like, you can pick up when stories don't add up. But some of us, we fail to use discernment and to listen. Listen carefully. Listen more than how you talk. And one of the most important things is go with your gut feeling. If your gut tell you that you don't want to be with somebody, don't make your friend them say, boy, he's a nice person and, he's not who you like, he's who like you. And no. If you're not like them, you're not like them. If you don't like them, just leave them alone.
Right.
Because 90% of the time, you don't like them for a reason. There's a reason behind it. You understand? And, you just have to do, it's sad to say, I wish I had the opportunity to think, but you have to do some deep digging and do your background check. And it's unfortunate because for me at that time, anything somebody tell me, I didn't think I need to be Inspector Gadget, and I remember asking some people around, what is the situation like? And that's what they believe too, So I was like, okay, cool. Yeah, no worries.
Was there any sign of abuse or anything?
There was. I can tell you 2 instances. There was a point in time when I remember I went to my brother in Atlanta because I used to go up every year. And I remember at that time we used to have BB phones. And when I was on the road, it's not like now where you have Wi-Fi, you can get signals and stuff. So, I gave him my brother's phone, and I would be like, hey, if I'm on the road, he can call me on that phone. But there are times when he would call. And I would say, yo, don't answer it, y'all. Don't pay it no mind. And let me tell you something, Stretch. I remember when I came back from one of my trips in Atlanta, and he came to pick me up at the airport, and I was driving on Palisadoes Road. I never forget. And the man pulled over and put a gun to my head and said, say me kill you. Brother, this was me in the car. And the gun shine, And him just bust out a laugh and say, says joke, man, I just go pick up daddy gun. That was a red flag, and I ignored it. Another red flag was, no matter where I was hosting, even if I didn't tell you, he would just show up there. He would just be in the audience. I remember one time I had a dressmaker, Cutie. She was by Walton Park. And, I did a fitting for a show. I was doing the launch of Rebel Salute, never forgot. And I went down there and she was making my outfit. And when I came out, bro, 2 of my tires, bust. Don't know how, flat. So naturally, with enough self, you're going to take up the phone and call him. And when I called him, Stretch, he was less than 10 minutes away.
Strange. But that's another red flag you ignored.
Third red flag. I remember I used to live because my grandma, she used to live on a pathway in Greater Portmore. So you used to have to walk down into a lane in order to go home. So he spoke to me from from Kingston, all the way to Portmore one evening from work. That was like about a 45-minute drive, and he spoke to me all the way, and he was like, I'm taping Cash Cab, da 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 da. I was like, okay, cool. So listen, I'm at the lane now, so I don't like talking on my phone when I'm going down the lane. So I'll call you back when I get inside. And he's like, okay, cool, man. I'm going to tape Cash Cab, so I will call you back. I will call you. I said, okay, cool, bro. I turn my back, opening the grill, and somebody just jump out of the bush by me. Boom! It was this man.
And let me get some laugh it off.
He laughed it off. But me was a big jackass. I will take that. I was a nincompoop because all those things told me exactly what I needed to know, and I ignored them.
So do you think that part of that is lacking of self-love?
Absolutely.
That's the lesson, I think.
Absolutely. It's important. You see, you can't love, you have to heal. You have to heal. Whatever is hurting you, you have to find a way to heal.
Before you go into a situation.
Before you go into a relationship. That's very important. Because if you go into any relationship or any situation with your trauma, what you're doing is giving them an unhealed version of you. That's number one. And number two, attracting what is not for you. Because at that point, you become desperate.
Yeah, because now you're accepting anything. Because you don't know what you want.
Anything. And I never forget, Robert Blake, love you. Mwah. I remember Robert said to me, you see you're going to pick and pick until you pick shit. And shit I did pick. But
So now that you're raising a little girl, what are some of these lessons that you're teaching her?
The same lessons. Just love yourself.
She knows what happened, right? She knows.
Absolutely. Okay. Absolutely. And she is still in therapy to this day. But, I tell her it's important to love yourself, because if you don't love yourself, nobody will ever be able to love you. I teach her the importance of following her gut. And don't ever, no matter what decision you make, never leave the Lord out of it. True. Pray about everything. Even if you're going to walk down the road and, don't be afraid to, and you're not sure, don't be afraid to talk to God. Because sometimes we do get the signs. You ever see that meme there where the big old sign will lick you in your head? And you still get up, God, you say, God, show me a sign, and you use the sign and lick you in your head, and you get up and still ignore it. Just always talk to God, and I just one of the most important things is to just teach her that she's important, she's special, and she's a child of God.
So now that you're at this space in your life now, what are some of the best things in your life right now?
Oh, my daughter is number one.
Of course.
I love my husband.
Wait. Rewind. Hold on. Remember, you said if me ever see you,
That was then.
if me ever see you in a no relationship.
Tie me up like gold. Bye.
So, wait. Rewind, because we have to delve into this a little bit, because you have to talk about, because I know a lot of people is going through similar things.
And stop going like you don't know him. Because him
Of course
love
I
like
do,
cook
but,
food.
but you say husband, that's the
Yeah.
part I didn't know. Because I never invited to know it. So I know how to go.
But yeah, I mean,
Wait, I have so many questions about this. I don't know if we have enough
let me
time.
leave that part.
I don't know if we have enough time, but
Let me leave that
yeah.
part.
All right. So your daughter, your husband. I know grandma's not here, but you still carry her with you wherever you go.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I have aunts that I inherited here. Janessa has a grandmother that she inherited here. We have a lot of family, and I still have a lot of family close and dear to my heart. My aunt Marjorie, my grandfather is still alive. Love me like cook food. Love him back.
In Jamaica?
Yes, he's in Jamaica. So I have a big support system. It's not even funny. Big, broad,
Yeah, because
spread out.
I remember when I met you in the pandemic when you was doing the first brunch on Brookout. That was fun too.
Yeah.
You were speaking of your journey, and it was like, what journey did you talk? What journey? This happy person who we all love you. Like, from then we connected, and it was like me. I don't know about the journey you was talking about until I actually, like, it was like a year ago. I saw you talking about it on your Instagram, because you was kind of frustrated with people still bringing it up,
Yeah.
still coming after you, still saying stuff.
Yeah.
And that is when I was like, wow,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And then you did the Sim Soul sessions, and I was like, Simone did this from purpose. Make people
Simone
cry.
she's amazing.
Yeah,
she's
she is.
amazing.
Where do you go from here? Let me not say that. How do you think your life would have turned out without this happening?
You know what? I don't know. I just know because of my will, I know I would still be doing media, big in Jamaica. My goal was I was working so hard. My goal was to retire at 40, buy, properties, rent them out, and just work if I want to. That's what I had in my head at that time. And I always wanted to teach communication as well. Because, I know that there were so many young persons at my time who just wanted an opportunity to be in the industry, but just never got the chance, So that's one of the things that I started to pour into when my incident happened. But I know I would still be doing media, but you know what? Forward ever, backward never.
You know why I'm asked? Because I need you to come do this with me. I need you. You need a platform like this because as you can see, everybody can see you're well spoken, you're experienced, you have the knowledge, of course. And I feel like you can help a lot of people with the stories that we could tell over here.
Yeah.
So at least have you on as a regular guest. Because I know you're busy. I know.
And give God thanks for that too, right? Because, my first job in the US was to go with my friend and clean houses.
Okay.
Right?
Like the janitorial service type
Yes.
thing.
Yeah. She used to own a cleaning company, and that's where I started. And now I literally work 7 days a week. I have bookings all the way up to the second week of January.
And May 11, by the way, Art of Music Festival.
Yeah, and then I also have, I got 2 calls today too for February, not confirmed, but I'm only saying this to say, like, I keep growing. So I can't keep looking back as to where I was and where I could be. I'm looking at where I am and just giving God thanks for everything. Because, when you really think about it in a stretch, like, me could not eat out a garbage pan.
Like I said,
Easy,
the crossroad. You know the
Easy,
crossroad that
easy.
I'm talking about? The crossroad could be
easy.
you on a pole somewhere trying to figure
Yeah,
it
like
out.
easy. Me could not eat out because, like, when you really think about what happened, like, me could have well mad. Me mad, but not really, me can't control. You understand? But yeah, no, me could have. It could have been worse, right? And the fact that I'm still able to push the way I'm pushing, I just give God thanks. That's it. Literally.
And to be honest, it's an appreciation for me to hear your story. And like I said, I've met people who've been through so much stuff, especially in Jamaica.
Yeah.
And a part of why I do this podcast is to bring awareness to a lot of that stuff. Because there's a lot of people who I've met, to be honest with you, 80%, I'll put it at 80% of the women I've met that's from Jamaica has been abused, raped, went through some traumatic situations. And they can't speak about it. There's some people who have been raped that, in Jamaica, when you get raped, it's like you're scorched earth, you're scoring them, scarring you.
Right.
And giving them that opportunity to speak it out loud has helped to heal a lot of people.
Right.
And a lot of people would have those traumas like even what you have and just bottle it up. No therapy, no nothing, and just they live with that trauma.
I couldn't do that to my daughter. I couldn't do that to my daughter. I had to, because there was a point in time where, I had to realize that I'm raising a child from a man who tried to kill me. I had to heal to be the best version for her, and to love her with everything I have in me. You can't be a parent and love halfway, partway, only when things good.
Do you think there's ever a time when you would ever allow her to meet him?
Truth be told, that's on her when she's 18. But over my dead body,
Not right now.
Not right now. Because, baby, as far as I'm concerned, we are dopey. You made sure you told that man, make sure them dead. We dead. So, it is what it is. Like, that, for me, he's dead to me.
Right.
Like, nobody can tell me nothing about him. Like, he is dead to me. Dead.
Okay. I know she has a father figure now.
And listen, no joke, that girl is so blessed. If I were in her shoe at her age, when I tell you so many people pour into her, like right now, she have about 20 godfathers. Sometimes I would say to her, like even Christmas coming. Christmas not even reach yet. And every minute, I sent something for Jay. I did send it. Tell me what Jay want. So I said to her, Uncle did. Which uncle again? Which one of the uncle them sending? Mommy, who I can call and tell thanks? Because she always tell people thanks for that. She's like, Mommy, which one of the uncle them? I say, life goodie. You have so much uncle you can call for tell. So she's never been without. We've been blessed. Stretch, we've been so blessed.
Yes, and I've been blessed to meet you, my dear. In closing, though, usually, because I'll just let you get it out. Normally, I'll be having a conversation, but I was just intrigued to hear your story and all the gems that you dropped today. But I want you to give us one final thought, something that you've not only learned over the years, but something that could help somebody that's watching right now.
You know what? The only thing I'll tell anybody who's listening right now is your current situation is never your final destination. I'll never stop preaching that, because I remember when I'm in my situations, in that moment, I don't see a way. I'm sorry. I don't see a way out, right? So anybody who's going through something right now, you don't know what's on the other side of life waiting for you. Be patient. Sit still in your season. One bill. Chill out. Because when it's your time, it's your time. And a day to us is like a second to God.
Right.
So you may look and say, boy, it's 10 years now, I can't. If anybody told me that I could have been where I am right now after 12 years ago, I wouldn't believe, because I didn't see that. I didn't want to believe that, because I was taking everything I was going through at that time as my final destiny. So if anyone is in that position right now, I want to tell you, this is not going to last forever.
Right.
And that's a promise.
Mine would be self-preservation and self-maintaining and self-love takes work. It's an everyday job.
Yeah.
You don't take days off from those things.
Always growing.
Development, everything that is going to make you better is going to take work. That's why a lot of us live in the space of unhappiness, depression, anxiety, because we don't know what's next. We look in the mirror, some of us don't recognize who we see.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of us didn't take the time to do the work,
Yeah.
know who we are.
And work never ends, Stretch.
Just never does.
I still do therapy. I have therapy every Tuesday and Thursday, every single one.
I go to therapy every once in a while myself.
Yeah.
And find your safe haven, like gym. I love the gym. I love going to the gym. This podcast, I do it out of my pocket.
Yeah.
Because I love doing it. This is what I love to do. I want some sponsors though, by the way. Don't think we don't want it. But I do the show, I do parties, I DJ. Like everything I do, I love.
Yeah.
But outside of that, you still have to have your self-development tactics, whatever you do. I go to yoga, therapy, like you said. Sometimes even sitting still.
Yeah.
Self-reflecting is a part of self-care because you want to take a step back and look at yourself, analyze yourself. What can you improve? What do you love about yourself?
Yeah.
And sometimes even looking at the flaws that you have and even falling in love with those things too.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of us get caught in comparing ourselves to things that we see online.
Especially social media.
Yes. And I talk about it on the episode with Conscience, where it's like, imagine me and you, we were in high school together. Now I look at your Instagram and it's like every day is your best day.
Yeah.
And I'm here living my worst day looking at you, and now I'm depressed because
And
like
life is not always what it posts
to be.
Post.
But a lot of us don't know that.
Yeah.
And especially the younger ones, that's one thing I always preach to them. Like, don't watch those things. Nothing, that's all a facade. So
a lot of it is.
And a lot of parents haven't educated themselves on how to teach kids how to love themselves. They leave the raising of the children up to the tablets and the phones and online, and they go online and they see these things, and that's what they emulate, So teach the kids also how to find love in themselves, and also to do self-care. In every way. Because even with women, some of these women don't teach their young girls how to shower properly or self-hygiene.
You're so right.
Things like those.
One of the other things, though, I have to add, though, and this is so important, and I know I said it earlier in the podcast, but I'm getting goosebumps saying it again. When you are going through, whether good, bad times, or in between, be very careful of who you let in your space. If those people are not uplifting you, don't be afraid to separate yourselves from them. It is okay. Mm-hmm. You owe no one any explanation but yourself and your peace. Your peace is priceless. And if you have somebody around you who's going to bring you down further than where you are, what's the point? Let it go.
Yeah. I learned that a little bit late, though.
And it's okay. And you don't need to explain why I don't want to talk to you no more. It's okay to walk away from what doesn't serve you. And I had to do, from 2012 until now, I had to do a lot of walking. My foot back and bruised up.
But you walk into better things.
I had to.
Yeah.
I had to. You know what I mean? Because the more mature you get, the more you realize it's important to just hold close to you what makes you feel like you belong. Like, I shouldn't have to be explaining who I am to somebody. Mm-hmm. I shouldn't want to feel like I want to be somebody else around somebody. I shouldn't have to feel hurt by the things someone say to me. Mm-hmm. So
or insecure
or want to compete, right. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, just go with whatever makes you happy.
Sure. And with that, Jody, I say this was long overdue. I can't wait for part 2, by the way. Because with part 2, I'm going to have... I
don't know if you're going to catch me for part 2.
See, we're going to try, because I want to have you with another guest of mine, but I want to come on that been through some stuff too that I think we would have great conversations. Because this is about helping and educating. So
absolutely.
I appreciate you so much for coming.
No problem.
It was, listen, it was everything I expected it to be. Okay? So that's why you have to come back. And with that, I say thank you so much for tuning in, everyone that's been subscribed, everyone that likes, share, support the channel. Much love to you guys, and send it to a friend. Make sure your friends see it. It's clean content. your kids go watch it. My nieces and nephew watch it. My parents watch it. So shout out to them. And we will see you guys again next time on another episode of the Student Life Podcast. Peace out.